Hi, this is Jody Colegrove with Quantum Techniques. We have the most comprehensive diagnostic form of energy medicine in the world today. I work with people over the phone to help them understand why they're having health issues and what they can do about it. I want to share with you today my experience and also kind of Quantum Techniques thoughts about essential oils. Essential oils are really starting to take a hold in our community in regards to alternative healing. And I think as Quantum Techniques, we don't want to put down any modality if we haven't kind of researched it and see what is really helpful and if it is beneficial. At the same time, we have found certain things to be true about essential oils, and so we wanted to share those with you. So the first thing is that we have found that essential oils can sometimes overload your body in the different senses, okay? And so if people have a lot of internal toxicity, in other words, lots of virus and bacteria or fungal, especially in cranial nerve 1, which makes you more susceptible to any kind of smells, then you may be more irritated by the smell outside in your environment and also inside your environment. And this doesn't necessarily have to be essential oil, just any smells. I went to the hardware store the other day and had to walk through the chemical aisle, and I noticed that I had an issue. So it's okay, I have some internal toxicity that I need to get rid of. So just be aware that that's something to be aware of when you're dealing with essential oils and whether they're impacting you or not, for good or for bad. The next thing is that we want to, if essential oil tests, or whether an essential oil tests good for you. So we muscle test to find out if there's a certain oil that would be beneficial for you. The issue is that that oil may be good for you, but it may not be good for the other people in your family. So, you know, like the dog, the kids, your husband, and so they may be more irritated regarding that essential oil than you are. And so there may be ways that you can take the essential oil that isn't where it's smelled a lot. And I know sometimes people put it like on their hand and then touch it to their tongue or something like that. So we can see if that would be a benefit to you, but that way people else in your environment don't have to smell it. I remember I went to church once and I had to move because the lady next to me had way too much essential oils on it and I couldn't even function. It was just too overwhelming. So be aware of that. When you're dosing yourself, you're also dosing everybody out there. At Quantum Techniques, we usually start by saying if you have any essential oils, to please put them in a bag and put them in a place where they are away from your sleeping area. So a lot of times I tell people, put them underneath your laundry sink. And what we do is then we find out if what your body is needing without those. In other words, does it have the high toxic load of an inhalants or virus or bacteria or fungal that needs to be addressed? Then as your body is healed from those things, then we can start adding them back in or find out which ones are okay for you. But sometimes it's good to kind of stay off of those for a while as your body heals that internal toxicity. One of our other concerns is that God made the flower the way they smelled. And so when you take an essential oil, you are concentrating it, and so sometimes it could be too strong for your body. And so therefore it can overwhelm your senses. When you smell essential oils, you're activating the amygdala. And so if you have any kind of trauma in that amygdala from your living life, it can activate that and make it more sensitive or make a reaction or things like that. It's also important to use pure organic essential oils, because let's say that they aren't made pure, then you could have pesticides you're actually breathing on top of the scent. So it's really important to have things that are non-toxic, and things like Young Living is a very good source because they really take a lot of efforts to make sure that it's very pure. So that'd be something to consider. Let's see, I went to a great seminar just recently that was put on regarding essential oils, and I learned a lot. And I learned that, you know, like I said, it does activate the amygdala, that it crosses the blood-brain barrier, and so there is healing that can take place, but we need to test to see if it's good for you. Some of the other things is that it can help with the emotions and things like that, and help your body recognize what it needs to work on. One thing that I thought was interesting is that see, the fragrance of the oils resonate with different organs and emotions. And so she had different essences that she had that represent emotions and also different organs and feeling stuck or something like that. And she said that, not only is it just that we smell it, but you also, think about, okay, I'm wanting to get unstuck, and then say an affirmation. I thought that was a really neat way to use it more than just smell it. So now I'm going to share with you kind of my experience, because I hadn't had much issue or experience with essential oils, and I really wanted to understand from a perspective, because I do think I want to honor people that have really worked with essential oils and found them to be beneficial, and to find out how we can marriage quantum techniques with essential oils. So here's my experience. So I went to a meeting where there were several people that did massage and essential oils and things like that. So I asked this particular practitioner, I said, I've been working on my chakras, and I said, one of my chakras that's low is my cranial chakra. So what would you suggest would be good for me as an essential oil? And so she had me smell lemon and orange, and she said, are they refreshing? And I did. I found them very refreshing, a nice scent, something that we smell all the time, no issue. Then she said, okay, this is childlike essence that she said would be good. So she smelled it first and then handed it to me. Well, I smelled it, and I really didn't like the smell much, okay? It was just kind of didn't resonate. I kind of felt, odd about it. But it wasn't a big deal. It went away after a while. So when I left there, as I drove home, I cleared myself of any areas where that scent bothered me. Whether it's the cerebellum, which is chemical makeup in the body, the mucosal lining, the cranial nerves in the face, lungs, any place that I could think of that may have been impacted, amygdala, by that smell, so that I didn't get, it didn't continue to affect me. And I was fine. Well, about 2, 3 in the morning, I woke up in complete fight or flight. Okay, and that's quite unusual for me unless I have a bite or something like that. So I went right into muscle testing and said, okay, what's going on here? Okay, so what I found is that my adrenals were like at a 200 or 100, somewhere in there, and that my automatic nervous system was really running, okay? And what I found is that essential oil was still impacting those particular areas. And so I cleared it, whether it's physical or non-physical issues that had come up, and I was able to clear it and go back to sleep. But that took me about 4 nights of that same thing happening in order to clear this out of my body. Now, I don't think that's bad, but I don't necessarily think that was helpful, okay? And so one thing is, I was really concerned that there's no muscle testing going on to find out, okay, is this good for you? In other words, she smelled it herself, so she was already toxed on that if it wasn't good for her. So we need to have an ability to be able to muscle test, this is a particular, or would this be good for you, yes or no? And keeping in mind, we have to test for all the different organs, glands, and tissues. There may be one good for one thing, but not for another. We just have to kind of be aware of that. Let's see. So yes, learning to test first. So, and then the other thing is that the class I went to, she said, that the essential oils will help you work on different organs, emotions, and issues that may be stuck. So there is a case that maybe I had some emotion stuck in my amygdala and also my automatic nervous system that needed to be healed. And that could be the case, but I had not had any issue before that or any issue afterward until I cleared that out of my system. So I'm going to leave that to you to decide. But I decided that I haven't had a need for essential oils in my life. And so it's not something I'm going to add, but at the same time, I want to honor what people have used them for and have found benefit for. And all I just ask is that you consider having really good source, so they're not pesticides, that you make sure you learn how to muscle test for both yourself, your others in your household, to make sure that it's not toxic for one of them, and to make sure you take it in a way that is not going to toxic other people. Because let's say you put it on and let's say go to church or go to the grocery store, you could be toxing other people. And that's, I don't, it's kind of think about as a drug. In other words, we don't take our, heart medicine and then go out and then give it to everybody else and say, well, it must be good for you. It's the same thing, so you need to be aware of that. And then I think the other thing is, if you have toxicity in your body, you're going to be affected to that. So trying to make sure that you have a good, clean, healthy environment before you start doing essential oils. So that's my help, and I hope that helps you. And I look forward to helping you navigate essential oils and what would be good for you and what would not be good for you. All right, well, blessings with Quantum Techniques. You can go on our website and request a session request, and we can work with you on finding that out. Blessings.